Moses and the Israelites had wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. Some of the older people remembered every year. They had been children when Moses led the people out of Egypt. Some of the people had been born in the wilderness. They heard stories about all the things God had done to help his people. But they hadn't been born yet when those things happened. Now the Israelites were at the edge of the land God had promised to give to his people. The promised land would be their new home. But before they entered the land, Moses, who was now very old, gave the people a message from God. First, Moses reminded the people of why they were in the wilderness. Many years ago, God told us to enter the promised land, Moses said. This is the land God promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and to us, their future families. 12 spies went into the land and they saw that the land was good, but the people refused to go in. They were afraid of the people who lived there. They did not trust God. Moses said, God said that everyone who chose to disobey him would not enter the promised land. Not even me. Only their children and Joshua and Caleb, who had trusted God completely, would go in. So we wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. Babies were born, young children grew into adults, and the people who had chosen to disobey God died. Now it is time for God's people to enter the promised land. Moses explained, I begged God to let me go into the promised land, but he said no. God told me that Joshua would lead you into the promised land. Moses reminded the Israelites of God's commands. Follow these commands, Moses said. Don't forget what the Lord has done. Teach these things to your children and grandchildren. Then Moses warned them, be careful. Do not make an idol for yourselves. Do not worship things you have created, and do not worship things God has created. Worship only God. If you do not do what is right, God will scatter you to other lands, but he will not leave you. If you look for God, you will find him. He will not destroy you. He will not forget his covenant. Your God is a compassionate God. Moses said, know this, the Lord alone is God. There is no other besides him. Moses said it again. The Lord is God in heaven above and on earth below. The Lord alone is God. There is no other besides him. Obey his commands so that you may live long in the land the Lord is giving you. Moses commanded the people to obey God so that they would live. He told them to worship only God, the one true God. We receive eternal life from God by trusting in Jesus, and we obey him because only he is God.